Coquilles Saint Jacques is a classic French bistro dish, and it's a combination of sweet, briny scallops, earthy mushrooms, little cognac, and then the topping is made with breadcrumbs and nutty Gruyere. It's a great dish. And I'm gonna make a really simple version of it. So first I'm starting with a white sauce, which is basically the kind of white sauce you have for lots of things, including like mac and cheese. So I've got 4 tablespoons of butter that I've melted and added a 1/4 cup of flour. And I'm just mixing it and cook it for just a minute to get the floury taste out. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is whisk in 1½ cups of seafood stock. Just whisk it in slowly. You don't have to make your own. I get this from the seafood shop and it's absolutely delicious. And now, just because it's French cuisine, I'm gonna add a cup of heavy cream. It just makes a really rich sauce with the scallops. Oh, this is just silky and just gorgeous. So now I'm gonna season it. What's traditional with this is a little bit of nutmeg, but I just decided it'd be fun to add curry powder instead, just a little bit of heat, and it's actually delicious. Very untraditional. So 1/2 teaspoon of curry powder, 1½ teaspoons of salt. You want this sauce to have a lot of flavor because mushrooms and scallops are fairly bland on their own. They just need a lot of seasoning. 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. The seafood and the curry smell so good together. I'm just gonna bring this to a boil, lower the heat, and let it simmer for about 10 minutes and it'll get nice and thick. In the meantime, I've cooked some mushrooms, cremini mushrooms, about 12 ounces, with a cup of shallots and 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna add a little bit of cognac to give it a little zest. Okay, off the heat for the cognac. I don't want to pour cognac into something with this open flame. 1/4 cup of cognac. Maybe that's a little more. Okay, I'm just gonna turn the heat back on. A little salt and pepper, about a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. I'm just gonna let that cook for a minute just to reduce the cognac. This is really the kind of thing I used to make all the time when I lived in Washington. I had dinner parties a long time ago. But it's great because you can assemble the whole thing, put it in the fridge, and then just bake it before dinner. It's really classic French food, but it's simple, it's earthy, and it's just delicious. You can find it in any bistro. Okay, that's done. So now I'm gonna make a breadcrumb and Gruyere topping for the Coquilles Saint Jacques, which is so delicious. So I have 1½ cups of fresh breadcrumbs, and I have 5 ounces of Gruyere, really good kind of nutty Gruyere, and some parsley, about a 1/4 cup. I'm just gonna give it a pulse, mix it in this, just so they're combined. And then I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And what the olive oil does is kind of moisten the breadcrumbs, and then when it goes into the oven, it's gonna get nice and brown and crusty. Just drizzle it around. Okay, that's the topping. Next, the scallops. Can't have Coquilles Saint Jacques without scallops. So I've got 2 pounds of bay scallops. They're particularly delicious. I'm not gonna cook them in the sauce now. They're gonna cook later in the baking dishes. Just assemble it. And then I'm gonna put them right into the mushrooms and shallots. How gorgeous is this? And just think of the layers of flavor. It's just wonderful. Shallots and mushrooms and cognac. I'm just gonna stir these together. And then I'm just gonna put them in the little gratin dishes and bake them in the oven. So they're gonna be sweet and creamy in the bottom and crunchy and Gruyere, grated Gruyere on the top. Yum, I can't wait for them to come out of the oven. These are classic French gratin dishes. And frankly, if you don't have little ones, you can put it all in one big one. It tastes just as good. This is very rich, so you don't want too much in each dish. And now I'm gonna put the topping on. So this is the breadcrumb and Gruyere and parsley, little olive oil topping. I'm just gonna put some on each dish. The fresh breadcrumbs are great because when they bake, they're gonna get really crisp. And the Gruyere is gonna melt. Such a good combination. I think this is kind of classic for any kind of a gratin dish to have a topping like this. I just think the texture is wonderful. Okay, last one. Fantastic. Okay, into the oven, 400 degrees for 20 minutes, and they're gonna be hot and bubbly and delicious. Oh, these smell amazing. Look how gorgeous they are. I just love all the sweet scallop, and you can, a little hint of curry, and the mushrooms and the cognac. This is definitely French food made easy. Wow. Hot and delicious. Sometimes the easiest things are also the best. In France, they always serve a cheese course after dinner, which is really easy. You go to the cheese shop, you buy some really delicious cheese, and you serve it. No cooking at all. I'm going to turn up the volume just a little bit on the cheese course and do a marinated goat cheese. It's easy to do, you can make it ahead, and it's really delicious. So what I'm doing is I'm slicing a log of goat cheese. It's fresh goat cheese. And the best way to do it, oddly enough, is with a piece of dental floss. You can make really clean cuts, so about half-inch slices. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a little jar. Now I'm just gonna build the cheese and the herbs. So I'm just gonna do one layer. So first goat cheese, a little salt and pepper, and then a little sprinkling of dill, a little sprinkling of basil, and some red pepper flakes. Just enough to give it a little spice. And then I'm gonna drizzle it with olive oil. What I don't wanna do is drown it. So just a little bit of olive oil on top, just to moisten it. And then I'm just gonna keep building. And that is gonna be a great French cheese course. So I'm just gonna put the lid on and let this marinate for an hour. And in the meantime, I'm gonna show you another way I serve goat cheese for French cheese course. How pretty is that? It starts the same way with discs of goat cheese. I dip them in a mixture of beaten egg whites and water, then into fresh breadcrumbs, making sure the cheese is thoroughly coated. They go onto a sheet pan with a rack and into the fridge to chill for 15 minutes. When the time is up, I saute them quickly over medium-high heat in olive oil and butter, just enough to brown both sides without melting the inside. They're perfect served on a simple platter. Who wouldn't want that for a cheese course? I would. Okay, back to my goat cheese. It's marinated goat cheese with herbs and olive oil, a little cheese knife. Everybody can help themselves. And I just toast baguettes. I do angled slices of baguette and toast them and just serve it right on the board. Then everybody can just help themselves. It's a great cheese course. But the French actually do cheese and salad together. So I'm gonna show you my classic French vinaigrette. First thing I need is 3 tablespoons of champagne vinegar or white wine vinegar. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Half a teaspoon of garlic. I just like a little hit of garlic in the vinaigrette. Half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. It's gonna emulsify the dressing a little bit. 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. This is why doing it in a measuring cup is such a good idea. I need a half cup of olive oil. And I'll just measure it and mix it at the same time. So just pour it in slowly, little at a time, until you've got a half a cup. That way it becomes emulsified and it'll really coat the salad. French always serve a salad after the main course, which I find really refreshing. And that's when they serve cheese too. Okay. So there are 2 ways to do this salad. If I'm gonna make it in advance, what I would do is I'd pour the dressing in the bottom of the bowl and then just pour the lettuce on top and let it sit. And that way, the lettuce doesn't get soggy before I'm gonna serve it. But if I'm gonna serve it right away, I'll just take 2 spoons and toss it all together. It's something we don't usually do here, is serve a salad at the end, but I really have gotten used to it. I really love doing it. Kind of paces the meal nicely. Have a little bit of a pause before dessert. And that's a French cheese and salad course. What I like best is no cooking.